Hey everyone, I am the TheChosenOneLegend here, as always joined by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Kai, also known as Fascurreyn.
And welcome back to the BunchaJokahs podcast, where we talk about the gaming highlights from the past month. And, there hasn't really been any big video game releases in July, have there, Kai? Nothing huge.
Nah, nothing springs to mind, to be
No,
honest. Yeah,
nothing we'd care about at least, it's...
everyone's playing Elden Ring still, right? That's
It's
still
true.
a thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
Kirby and Elden Ring, that's it.
I thought they were the same game. Are they not?
It's like Pokemon's different versions, it's...
Ah, okay. I get you.
But-
Okay, cool.
But yes, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has of course released, which is awesome that's out and people are playing it. Disclaimer though, we're not going to really be talking about that yet because I'm still early on and Kai has not got the game yet because he's in a different country. So
Yes.
pay respects to Kai in the chat please, in the comments below. Poor guy.
I've been working real hard to avoid spoilers. Let me tell you, so
Yeah.
much.
Same here. I've muted everything. I'm not using half the apps I did. I don't know how I passed the time now, but playing the game, I guess, for me. But yeah, so we're not going to be talking about that now. But do not worry. Once we've both more so finished the game and got into the game, we will be doing many videos breaking it down, talking about theories and our thoughts on it, and speculation for Xenoblade 4, all sorts. That will definitely be coming to the channel. But for now, we're giving you a breather so you guys can play the game as well. We're just here today to chill and talk about some of the other stuff that happened in July, which isn't too much, but to be honest, I'm in a boiling hot loft room recording this, so I'm glad it won't be too long a podcast, or I would melt. So
We need to go play some Mario Kart.
we do. We will definitely be getting to that rather shortly. But let's just get things straight on then with the first segment of the podcast. Can't have a podcast without news, baby, where we talk about the news highlights of July. And starting things off, we actually, it's interesting because people were wondering, we didn't get like a Nintendo Direct. What are Nintendo going to do with some announcements incoming? And the answer is just drop them on Twitter and YouTube randomly. Because first of all, we got a Bayonetta 3 trailer, which confirmed the release date for the end of October. It showed off some gameplay, some interesting new mechanics, like the enemies seem to be from another world or something, man-made creations. There's like a different version of Bayonetta in there. It's about as bloody crazy as you'd expect if you've seen anything of the past two games. I'm definitely looking forward to getting around to this. Do you have any experience with Bayonetta, Kai?
I know almost nothing about Bayonetta. All I know is like the general gist of the gameplay, and that Bayonetta like hunts angels, and like that's basically it. So
Yep. Basically what you've seen in the Smash Bros. And Smash Bros. Trailers is what you're saying.
pretty much, yeah. That's like 90% of it.
Yeah, it's definitely a series I'd recommend. It's good fun. The first one is like a bit... It shows its age a bit, it's kind of painful, but the second one's great, so I'm hoping it just continues on that path. And yeah, I'm probably won't get this at launch just because there's so much, so many games to play, so little time. But I definitely hope to get this maybe for Christmas or something. We actually see a new playable character in this, who uses a sword, which is an interesting take because we haven't had a different playable character in the series as far as I can remember. But to be honest with you, I think the funniest thing that came from the Bayonetta 3 announcement is that there's a new mode called Naive Angel Mode, which is actually just a censored game, so it's safe to play in front of your family or something. Which
Honestly, I really like that. Like, I think
It's good.
for a series like Bayonetta, because I have, I am aware of like what the game is normally like on that front. I think
Yeah.
it's great to just have the option and then call it something cheesy like that. It's brilliant.
it is funny, and I like that even when Platinum posted about it, what in their description was, "I'm definitely turning this off," was what they said. But like they know what they're about.
Chaz.
But it's a great option to have there. Not that I would call, even with censorship, I don't think I would ever call Bayonetta a safe game to play in front of your family, but it helps. It's definitely a cool feature to have, and the fact that they're so tongue-in-cheek about it fits with the personalities of the game perfectly. So definitely excited for this one. I know Sam, our graphic designer Sam, really likes Bayonetta series, so maybe I'll talk with him about this once it comes out or something. But
He's wishing like there was a mode that was the opposite of naive. Like it's like a scale for him, and he just keeps telling me that, and I'm like, come on, Sam, you need to chill.
it's one of his many weird Twitter posts. You know, the things he retweets. It's
Yeah, he's
can't control that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
But
he didn't
one,
finish the Xeno shorts. He's been, just retweeting stuff.
he's a busy guy. What can we say? You know,
He is.
hard to get hold of. But on to another thing that Nintendo sort of dropped on Twitter. We're getting updates on Mario Strikers. At last, finally, Daisy is coming to the game, and Shy Guy, which is neat. Now, neither of us ended up getting this game, and we haven't actually talked about this yet. So, what are your sort of thoughts on all this,
have
Kai?
We not?
We did not talk
it's,
about this.
Yeah, feelings I had about this game. So I was hyping it up a lot. Saying this is going to be amazing. I cannot wait to play it. A ton. And in the end, like the game had some really cool mechanics. Like the team bump is a cool idea. I kind of like the idea of the equipment. But in the end, like the game is, I'm just gonna say, it's not worth the money, like at all.
Yeah.
As good and as cool and as technical as they made the game, there's no content in it. It's just like not a good game. It's like tennis. What was the really bad Mario Tennis game? Is it Aces?
No, not Aces. I think it was the Wii U one. Don't remember what that was called though.
Whatever
But
that
there was
one was.
yeah.
It's like that equivalent where it's like, I don't know, the concept was really good and like, the core gameplay's decent. But like you'd get bored after a couple of hours of playing it. Again, the character roster, even with the DLC, is really small. And in the core gameplay of like how small the pitches are, that's like my number one issue right now, is that the pitch is too small, so it's not like all this technical stuff does not matter because you just like the pitch is too small. It's just chaos. It's like playing Smash, but you can only ever play with items on small battlefield. It's like there's no technical ability there. So I was disappointed in the end with the game. I will not be getting it despite all of the DLC because at its core it's still a lackluster game. I will just, when I get home, play Mario Strikers Charged and weep, I suppose. But hey, I mean, I'm looking forward to things like the new designs they give the characters because the designs of things are still pretty neat. So.
Yeah, it is a shame it's been more mixed. I think they definitely went all in on the competitive side, and at least in that aspect, if they're really into that, you at least have something that might be worth buying it for. They definitely went all in on the online making teams and stuff, but when it comes to just general people who are there to have fun, it definitely felt, it feels like it's lacking a bit, even with these additions. And I mean, I had fun when we played. I've still got that recording we got of that last minute clutch goal, which was
really good one.
Yeah, that was great. But you can have fun with it, I'm sure. But like you say, for the money, is it worth it? And when there's other games coming out, when Splatoon 3 is coming out, which is probably going to be at least have more content in it, it probably not. So
I mean, to be honest, if they made the pitch size like twice as big, or if they made it the size it is in Charged, I honestly probably would have bought the game if they just made the pitches bigger. Because at this point, you can't play the game properly because it's too small.
Yeah, I mean, I never played the past ones, but even I noticed the same thing you did before you even said it to me, that the pitches felt too small. I was definitely with you there. So it's but still, Daisy, like you said, it's cool seeing the new designs, Daisy, and that look like they've got their personalities and that captured. As much as Shy Guy has a personality, I'm not sure what you'd call it, but they've captured the characters well in the game. Next level games are great at doing that. Maybe you'll get better luck with the next Mario Strikers on the Switch too. Yeah, you never know.
We can dream. I mean, as for the character choices, I think Daisy was obvious because it's like she should have just been in the base game, quite frankly.
Definitely.
I know a lot of people are complaining about that, and honestly, I wasn't complaining. I also don't blame them for it. It's just a bit of a weird one to not include her. This is kind of, I would consider it her game, considering her whole personality is tomboy, and they're like, let's not include her in the sports game at launch.
Yeah, I mean, she introduces the game, doesn't she, at the start? She's the one who calls out the next level games and stuff when you boot up.
All the characters do on the Wii version. It's
really do they?
Every time you boot it up, yeah.
Oh, I've only ever heard her one, which says enough.
Yeah. But then, she's a good pick. I honestly think Shy Guy's a good pick because he was playable in Charged. And, I don't know, he kind of fits the vibe. You know, I'm cool with that. As for future DLC ideas, just my speculation, I think we'll get the characters from the previous game that aren't there currently. So I believe it's Bowser Jr., Diddy Kong, and Petey Piranha. I think it's just those three off the top of my head.
They're
and
good
then
shouts.
also maybe, I think they're brilliant to bring back. Petey might be like in the last wave or something, because he was the final boss of Charged. And then I guess my only other ideas is like, you know, more of Bowser's minions that were characters that were playable in Charged. So, you know, Hammer Bro, Monty Mole, Birdo.
I know
Birdo's quite a strong pick.
Pauline's a popular choice I see as well.
I'd be cool with Pauline if they gave her a cool, like, unique style. I think that could definitely work, so... There's a lot of potential for what characters they could introduce as playable, and I am looking forward to seeing what they bring. It's still not going to make me buy the game, though.
Yeah.
That's about it, really, for me.
At least for a game that's giving plenty of new content, thankfully for us, for no additional cost, which is great. Mario Kart 8, we finally got the Booster Pass Wave 2 announced and dropped this very day that we're recording this. And I had the chance to play them each once. Kai has not yet, but I mean, we know what the courses are. Do you want to run over the list, Kai? I know you have it on you.
Yep, so for the Turnip Cup, we have New York Minute from Tour, Mario Circuit Free from the SNES, Calamari Desert from N64, and Waluigi Pinball from the DS. Then the Propeller Cup is Sydney Sprint from Tour, Snowland from Game Boy Advance, Mushroom Gorge from the Wii, and Sky High Sunday, which is an original track.
Now, having not played any of these, are there any you're particularly excited for, Kai, or ones you're happy to see return?
I think, honestly, like, I actually really like basically all of the picks. I think
they're good.
I always appreciate the Tour ones because I'm pretty much familiar with like all of the stages in Mario Kart except for Tour, you know, because of all the retro and remakes, and I think I've played like maybe every Mario Kart except for like Double Dash. You know, I'm familiar with a lot of these, so I really like the Tour ones because not only do they use like real life locations, you know, they can go to New York and stuff, but they have like new mechanics. There's the whole thing on Paris where like the final lap changed and all that, and all these like cool variations. So I really like those as like two original stages that they're bringing to the console. I actually really appreciate that.
I'll definitely say that having played the New York and the Sydney ones, I really enjoyed them. They both completely, you know, they all do the same thing where they change the lap they change the course each lap, which is an adaptation, I believe, of in the original Tour. There's different versions of the track you can do, but it's such a clever way of merging them together into one that it really makes it feel dynamic, and the music and the atmosphere of them, I feel like they're even better than Paris and whatever the other one was in back one.
Tokyo, was it?
Tokyo, yes, that was it. I think these ones are better, to be honest with you. Not that the other ones were bad, but they really have a great feel to them. Yeah.
That's good to hear. Yeah, can't wait for New Donk City.
And I mean, obviously the big one here, the main popular one is Waluigi Pinball, which the music's great, the atmosphere's great. I played it just now, and just when I was looking good, a pinball came out of nowhere and destroyed me, and I said some unpleasant words to the TV. But it was great, you know. That's that's Mario Kart. It's a really fun track.
Apparently, when I was drunk, I was really looking forward to this being added to Tour a couple of weeks back, and I do not remember saying that, but I'm going to take everyone's word for it. Waluigi Pinball is, of course, it's a fan favourite. You know, it's up there with stuff like Coconut Mall. And when I played on the DS, this was one of my favourites. Just a really neat concept. Really cool how you go into the end bit with all the pinballs, and I think the thing near the beginning of the lap where you sort of shoot through. Just overall, like a lot of really cool concepts in Waluigi Pinball. Bright stage. I'm looking forward to how they've remade the graphics. However, Mushroom Gorge, I would say I'm even more excited for the graphics on because it's probably the best looking one, I think.
It's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, just I really like how they've upgraded the graphics from the Wii. It looks like the inside of the gorge has like crystals in it. So apparently some of the skips are still there, but like not really. Like it's kind of jank. Like some of the speedrun skips people do.
My only complaint with Mushroom Gorge, and this is something that I knew was coming because it was the same in the 3DS port of the track. The mushrooms are never quite the same. Like the feeling of them on the Wii as you took the side route that goes up, it feels like it goes really high up, and it was such a cool feeling bouncing across them. And it doesn't feel quite the same still. They didn't quite capture that, and I knew that was coming because they'd done it before. But it's still a really fun stage either way, and it's not to be like it's bad. It still works well. You've got the blue mushroom which acts as a glider now as well, which is cool. And you really have to be careful with it because if you time the jumps wrong, or you're going at the wrong speed, you can just crash into the side of one. So that happened to me.
Oh, I'm gonna get so angry. I can already tell.
Yeah, I definitely had some unpleasant words. I think partially I've noticed the downstairs TV which I was using has a bit more input lag, which means I kept missing the timing on the, the tricks you do off the mushrooms and stuff. I kept missing up that. I'm gonna blame the TV anyway, not myself. That's how it works. But it is the TV's fault completely.
Yeah.
But it's a really fun one, and I want to give two special shout outs here. The snow level one, the one that's from the Game Boy Advance.
Snowland, yeah.
Snowland, that looks it's a really nice looking track. Yeah, put a lot of thought into that one. But it's a really creative, like designed track, and the visuals on it are really beautiful. It did throw me off because there's a water bit, and you can't. I went into it thinking you'd do like an underwater section, and no, it kills you. So don't be fooled by that. It is.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's a really fun track. And Calamari Desert. There's a whole section where like the course tilts and you go onto the train tracks, and that completely threw me off. I don't know if that was in the original or not.
Oh, I think I remember hearing about that. I think that's a thing that was added in the Mario Kart Tour version of the track. And
right.
They decided to adapt it to the original in this, or something like that. I didn't properly read into it, but that might be one.
It's really cool because I was not expecting it. But even if you are, just the way it changes how you go, it's almost like the tour tracks where it changes your route across,
right,
and how you do it. It really took me off guard, and it was really fun. And the music for that stage was banging as well, which it all is. It's going to be with Mario Kart 8's jazzy soundtrack. But yeah, I honestly think, whilst I wouldn't say any of these are as good as my favourite from Pack 1, which is the Ninja Hideaway one. I thought that was such a great course. I think that overall this is actually the better pack. I think it's really strong courses, and we've got so many more incoming still. We're only like a sixth of the way there. So
yeah, we've got a lot on the way, but I will say like this does look like a fantastic set. Pinball Gorge are just two fan favourites. Two from Tour that you say are pretty good. An original track, which again isn't quite Ninja Hideaway, but it's still good. Like, yeah, this looks like a really solid list. So I'm glad they're making good picks with these.
Absolutely. But definitely, we're probably going to be playing some a little bit after this recording as well. So yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, you can edit if I decide I hate them all and like I want to get rid of them.
Just record yourself saying it sucks, and I'll just splice out all your audio and cut that in, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, okay.
The final piece of news that we have for this month is kind of a very last minute one. We got a Pokemon Presents, and most of it was uninteresting and not relevant. But of course, there was more information on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. They showed off a lot. They showed off, well, a decent amount at least. We got, like you said, a map of the area, these new crystal forms, the game's new gimmick, because everyone has to have one, apparently. And most importantly, I believe it was Fido, a new Pokemon.
Yes.
Which is precious, and I will do anything for it. Even if I'm not getting this game, I will do anything for Fido still. That's just how it is. What did you think,
I will
Kai?
say, Fido confuses me, because Fido is a fairy type.
Yes.
And I understand, I feel like it should have another type as well as fairy, but then I think, well, what would it be? I keep thinking bread is a type in Pokemon now. I'm like, well, obviously it should be the bread type. It's like no, I have no idea what element this would actually fit into, like at all.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess what you could do, and this is speculated now, if it's got like an evolution where it's like more baked, you can make it a fire type or something. Where it's meant
that'd
to
be
be like
sick.
it's baked up more and it's risen, and I don't know. I feel like they could do something like that, which would be awesome.
It could be like there was the Pokemon from Gen 8 called Alcremie, I think it was called Alcremie.
Yes.
Where you
Yeah.
had like different versions of it and stuff. That was always pretty neat. So I feel like maybe this is the Alcremie slash Furfru from Gen 6, like that kind of vibe where you can kind of have different forms of it to evolve it. I think that would honestly be perfect for this, but considering
would be
it's a fairy type and not a normal type, I don't know. No, we could still have that as like the secondary typing, actually. Yeah, I think that could work, actually, what you said there.
Would be neat.
Kind of like that.
But outside of Fido, even though that's the most important thing, what did you think of this trailer, what they showed off?
It's really weird because I actually liked most of the things they showed off in the trailer. But I still feel like something's really... Like, something is compelling me to not get it still, and I don't know what. I have no reason to, be like that, but something is beckoning me to be like, actually, I don't really care for this.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Maybe,
I don't know, maybe this might be sort of my outlook on it, but it's sort of it's definitely going for like more different style of Pokemon game. It's going for like, not. I mean, this is always going to be the comparison. Breath of the Wild, you can ride around on your Legendary, which is interesting, and it becomes a motorbike and a glider, and it's definitely going for that full open world thing. Which, when you think about it, like Pokemon in the open world sounds great. But also, it just leaves me thinking like, it's not going to be as good an open world as Breath of the Wild. That's all I'm going to be thinking. And I guess
truth of it.
it almost makes me think of like the whole Sonic Frontiers thing. As like everyone really wants this series to go open world, thinking it would be so much fun. But when it comes to the execution, it sort of feels like it loses a bit of the identity of what it was before, in a sense. Not so bad here, because I think people are more excited for this, and it looks still decent. So not to the same level, but I almost wonder if there's a similar effect there, maybe.
Yeah, I think honestly you might have hit the nail on the head there. Is like, being a turn-based, generally one-on-one game thing. I think that, despite not buying it, I think Legends Arceus was a game that did like a brilliant job, and it really filled a gap that Pokemon, were going for.
Yeah.
But then I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, well, I don't know really how much more they can do that keeps me interested. At the end of the day, it's still just like 1v1 Pokemon battles that I don't really care for that much. It's I don't know. Again, maybe there's more to it. Maybe the game will come out and I think actually there's some really neat stuff here. But knowing Pokemon, a lot of the things that they do are probably going to fall flat. One of the big things is multiplayer. I think that's gonna. I don't think it's gonna flop, but I think there's a good chance it will.
Yeah, it's really exciting potential, but you do wonder how many things could go wrong. Is it like really bad online? Is everyone going to be like lagging and disappearing and disconnecting or something? It might be fine, but you do worry about that.
Yeah, and I'm even thinking in the gameplay, like, there is the raid battles, which are apparently, they were already fun, supposedly. So I'm sure that part of things will be fun. But in terms of, like, the overworld, I don't really know how much they're going to go into the multiplayer. I feel like there's a lot of potential and they're probably not going to explore all of it. Like, say you're joining someone's world, and then they get into a battle and it's just like, well, you just have to watch them, I guess. It's like, it's just the core, Pokemon sort of turn-based battle system doesn't really lend itself well to this sort of thing. But hey, maybe the multiplayer is going to be great. I hope they prove me wrong.
Yeah, the thing is, like, it's one of those things. It's not like people who are excited for this game. I'm like, I can see why. Like, I get it. I think there's potential here, and if you're really into Pokemon, like if you're really into the world of Pokemon and all the creatures, and you're into like the anime and stuff a lot, I can see how just being able to run around an open world Pokemon universe with Pokemon flying around in the wild and being able to catch them and do it with friends, I can absolutely see like why this could be really good and why people are happy for it. I'm just not into Pokemon ultimately. That's just how it is for me. But
yeah, I think I am just kind of growing out of it, to be honest. I've become more invested in sort of other tactical games, again, like Fire Emblem as just an example.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just becoming more invested in those types of things where it's still turn-based, you know, turn-based strategy game. But Pokemon, you can only get so invested when it's just 1v1 battles over and over again. I'm far more... I mean, I'm not even that interested in the competitive, but I'm far more interested in the competitive stuff than I am all the single-player shenanigans they try including, because, you know, the competitive stuff is generally like 2v2 and all these interesting formats, whereas regular Pokemon is just, you bring out your Pokemon, your starter is 10 levels higher than the opponent, you one-shot them, you win, next battle, and it's just like, I don't know, I just feel like there's, it's just another series where there's only so much you can do with it, that the company isn't doing the best job in the world. I'm not going to say they're doing terrible, but, you know, it's a tough one for them, I'm sure.
The thing, like, for it to be something that I would pick up, it would basically have to be not what it is now, and although I would like that, you know, if they literally made it like a proper open world Breath of the Wild kind of game or something, without all the Pokemon gameplay elements, I would like that, but that's not what it should be, you know. I'm just not the audience. But it still looks not bad. Do you have any other thoughts on any of the other things showed off, like the crystal forms? I thought they looked kind of neat, but not really an opinion, to be honest.
Yeah, there's another new Pokemon they introduced called, I think it's Titan, which is meant to be like an armoured whale type thing. It's a really weird design. It reminds me of Dracovish, if you know what that Pokemon looks like. It's very top heavy. It's just got two hind legs and then just like a massive head.
Yeah.
And that's it. There's literally no other body parts. And it's just got like a bunch of spikes coming off it. It's a little weird, but hey, maybe it's cool. I don't know. So that's there. I kind of like the whole riding the Pokemon thing, you know, the gliding and the motorbike and the climbing. You know, it looks cool. I had a feeling there'd be some kind of equivalent. I feel like people actually called that you'd be able to ride the Legendaries and that it looks like motorcycles, so props to them. Yeah,
I definitely seen that comparison show up before, so it tells, even though it's weird when they're running, the wheels don't turn, or the things that look like wheels, they still run with their feet, which is odd.
Yeah, it's really jarring.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the concept. It was something maybe should have expected. You know, the Legendaries do look pretty cool. If I were to get it, I'd honestly be so torn on which version to get, because I think Koraidon is the red one, and like I prefer his design, but then during travel, Miraidon looks way better because it's like futuristic and stuff. Anyway, what else did they introduce? I guess the crystal forms is basically. Oh no, before that, they did have the whole thing of like, oh, you can go to the gyms in any order and you can explore the region in any order.
Oh yeah, but apparently, as seen afterwards, they don't scale, so although you technically could, you wouldn't want to, is what I'm hearing. Or what I've heard.
Yeah, so I don't really understand why that's meant to be a big draw, because that was literally a thing in like the first 2 generations. You could do some of the gyms in other orders.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really. It's not like a cool new mechanic. They did this 20 years ago and it was terrible then, and it's still not going to be a good thing now if you don't scale. Scaling wouldn't even be hard. Like, I can tell you firsthand, that is not a hard thing to program at all. Like having just 8 different teams depending on how many gym badges they have. That is so easy to implement with how many Pokemon there are nowadays. Like, you'd always have enough to make a good fitting gym.
Yeah.
So it annoys me that they're not going to that effort. And again, it's another way where, like, if they did make it scale, oh my god, it would be so much better. But again, just company missing like really easy cues in my eyes. But then, yeah, the last thing is the crystal forms, the big new mechanic like your Mega Evolutions and your Gigantamaxes. It's probably the worst one yet, I think. Maybe.
It's visually kind of pretty, but I don't know.
Yeah, it looks kind of cool, crystally. It reminds me of just like Go-Go's, where one of the seasons of them had like crystal versions of them.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
It's just like an average. I mean, it's not just them. They've probably done it for like a ton of collectors' toys. It's like there's a crystal form of all of them. It's not really like a new thing. It doesn't. You know, they look quite nice and shiny. I like the Eevee one with the big hat, but I think just having like one mantelpiece per type is a little boring, and
Yeah.
I just think it looks a bit unwieldy. It just doesn't. I don't know. I feel like the actual headpiece thing doesn't look very nice as much as the actual crystal Pokemon do.
I'm with
so
you,
yeah,
yeah.
another thing that's fallen flat. I don't know. I don't really like the whole. Oh, it just changes their type. But like, from what they showed in the trailer, 75% of them don't change type.
Yeah.
Only like a couple of them do, and it's like, well, what's the point then? It's so weird. It's just, again, it's just another thing fallen flat, and I like what they were going for, and then they just didn't do it very well. But hey, welcome to Game Freak.
It will be interesting to see how these end up being received, because obviously Legends Arceus was very well received in the end, and this is definitely doubling down on some of the aspects of that game with the open exploration. So it will be interesting to see how that translates to a mainline Pokemon game. And yeah,
I do want to clarify really quickly though, if people are watching. I am not one of these people that like hates Pokemon. I wasn't one of those people on Twitter during Gen 8 that were like complaining about everything. I found the game pleasant. And I think these will be good games too. Not great, but I think they'll be good. So it sounds like I'm complaining a lot here, but that's just because they've got really good concepts. They're doing something okay with them when they could be doing something brilliant with them. That's the main issue I'm having here, is like they're not doing a bad job, they just could be doing a lot better. So
Kai
I
hates
don't hate
Game
the
Freak.
games. I just
He
want
hates
to make
Pokemon.
it
Kai hates
no, Game Freak, please.
anyone who enjoys these games. Kai is the kind of person who just goes to your Twitter and starts berating you with insults and stuff.
Yeah,
That's just who Kai is, It's...
Bring back National Dex, innit? I'm not one of those
Oh
people,
no!
don't worry.
Moving topic. This is a good time
Yeah,
to segment. Yes, to our next segment of the podcast, Games Time, baby, where we talk about the games that we've been playing over the past month. And I'm going to start things off here because
Because I don't remember what I've played. I need to search what I've already talked about. Yeah, go on.
I'll give you some time, Kai. I'll give you a little moment. I'm going to be talking here about Fire Emblem Three Hopes, which I played and I beat just like last week. And I was looking forward to this. I had high hopes for the game. Puns. But mostly turned out well because I really enjoyed it in the end. I think it's definitely better than the first Fire Emblem Warriors. It's up there with like Age of Calamity and stuff. It's a really solid Warriors game if you're into that kind of thing. And I think part of that is, and we've talked about this before with Age of Calamity, but it really embraces its origin series. Not like the first few Warriors games, which are just Warriors games with a coat of paint of the series, Much like Age of Calamity and supposedly Strikers did for Persona, this really feels through and through like a Fire Emblem game, particularly like Three Houses. It's made by the same developers, which definitely helps a long way.
Yeah.
But from like the visual style of it, from the way that the characters are presented and the way you interact with them, you've got the same gameplay loop of Fire Emblem or Three Houses specifically, I should say, where you've got your main battles, then you've got your sort of your home base where you can talk to characters, raise morale, do supports, give gifts, go out for a little bit of tea time, you know how it is. You can do all that sort of stuff. It's here, and it feels just as fun to do in between to break up the main battles, It's really satisfying, it's basic in a sense, but it's really fun going around talking to everyone and getting to know your cast better. The characters are represented just as well as they were before. We see sort of different sides of them, but they've captured the personalities perfectly once again. And then to go ahead to like the battles themselves, it's really all in on the strategy aspects of it, which you would expect, but they've really nailed it in a way that other games don't do it quite the same. When it comes to starting a battle, the whole thing of like the weapons there, some being stronger than the others, is all there. You can equip different characters with items or battalions who also help with their effectiveness against different classes and stuff. And throughout the whole game, I spend 90% of the match, to be honest with you, not in the action, but on the pause screen, like assigning character to go to this base. You defend this person. You be an adjutant, assistant, adjutant. Yes, that word.
Something like that.
An ally.
Sure.
Yeah, you can do all sort of that assigning, and it really, the best thing is for once, the CPU are actually competent Like, if you tell someone to go capture a base, if they've got the right, as long as they've got like the right weapon type, they will. They actually do it, and they do it well. And it's so much nicer being able to rely on that. When you assign someone, it's got like the percentage thing Fire Emblem has, you know, where your percentage of success in an encounter. And as like things pop up and like suddenly you have random enemies start attacking an ally, like, okay, you're close to them, I'm going to send you there to defend whilst I take care of this. Then I'll head over and finish them off whilst you go take that base. And switching between characters and taking control of the battlefield, it really feels like Fire Emblem, and it's so much fun to do. And not to disregard the in-the-moment gameplay of the action as well, because they've really nailed that as well. It's not quite as good as Age of Calamity's, I don't think, in that regard. I think Age of Calamity had better action gameplay, just due to the variety of different characters it has. It's naturally, inherently got more crazy fantasy stuff like Gorons and Link with his ridiculous sword powers, you know. It was never going to be the same in that sense. But the way that they've captured the classes is still really well, because you've got so many characters in this game, you could never give them each unique moveset. That would just be way too much work. But by having it assigned by class, and then giving each character a unique move that's only for them, it allows you to, even characters of the same class, feel different, and there's different valid reasons why you would want to play one over the other. And it makes them feel really dynamic. And they've got their voice lines of Hilda just sounding bored with everything, and Marianne sounding eternally smoge, but it's the characters are portrayed perfectly through the action, and it feels great to control and move about the stages. So all in all, it's just a really fun game to play.
Yeah, I do plan on picking it up myself, to be honest. Just so many games.
Yeah, I get you.
I think it'll be a Christmas pickup, to be honest. Something like that.
I would definitely recommend it. And my only downside is, for me, I did find the story fell flat at the end. And I only played Golden Deer, so I can't speak to the other routes. So of course, there's plenty more of the game left for me to see even. And I'm not going to say any specifics or anything, but I felt like the ending of the story just fell a bit flat. It wasn't bad, but it felt like there was more to tell, and it felt like it ended a bit abruptly. And it's a shame, because it's the end, you know. If there's like a bit in the middle of the story that's a bit flat, it doesn't matter. But when it's the end of the game, that's your final thing. That's what you leave the game on. And my final thoughts playing was like, oh, that's it, you know. Which is a shame, especially considering how God-shattering the end of Golden Deer campaign in the first game was, you know, in Three Houses. That was such a great final level and end to the story. So that was a shame, but it's not awful or anything. There's still two other routes, and also, that's not to dispel that I loved most of the story and what it did. The story tells something different, and it really allows you to see different sides of these characters, which I really appreciate. Especially Claude. You get a lot of a different side of Claude in this game, and sort of the decisions he makes and why he does. And it's not like repeating the story from Three Houses, just with some minor differences. No, it's a completely different take on events. And the fact that they're going to be doing the same for the other two routes as well, I really appreciate it. Especially because you get to see new characters as well, like one that was in the trailer was Holst, Hilda's brother. And he's one of my favourite characters in the game. I loved him in it, seeing him there. And there's more. There's more that, you know, there's probably are more in other routes that I don't know about. And it really expands upon these characters in the world and the lore of the world in the ways that Three Houses didn't have the time to, you know. So, although I feel like it didn't answer all the questions I wanted from the story, and it didn't end in the most satisfying way, it still did some really interesting stuff, and I'm glad I played it. And I had a great time with these characters once again. So, if you love Warriors games, if you love Fire Emblem Three Houses, you're gonna bloody love this, you know, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, me and my dad are going to play through it because he enjoys the Warriors games. We're going to do the co-op mode.
Yeah.
But he's currently just started Three Houses, and I've kind of been guiding him through it because it's his first game of this type in the slightest.
Nice. What route did he do? That's
kind of Golden Deer, Fear the Deer.
Oh, of course.
But yeah, it sort of made me get really invested in the game again, being like, yeah, damn, this is quite fun. It'd be really fun to do in the Warriors form. And it's like you say, with just so much new content in terms of both gameplay and story for all the characters. Like, what a huge time sink to enjoy. You know what I mean? Like, I mean that in the best possible way.
Absolutely.
Especially with all 3 routes. That's going to be a lot of fun, so I'm really looking forward to it. And I will say, because I've heard, I'll just say, my final thing is, like, I've heard from multiple people that, like, one of their favourite parts of the game is going into the menu and directing the captains to the certain places.
Yeah.
For anyone out there who's played this game and really enjoyed that, play Pikmin 3. That's like one of the main mechanics in the game that makes it what it is. It's my favourite part of what I played of the demo of 3 Hopes 2. Play Pikmin.
I can see that.
That's genuine. Like, I didn't even really think about it before then, but when I was playing through the demo and, you know, seeing that mechanic, it's like, that's extremely reminiscent. It works in basically the exact same way.
I can see it.
So, you know, give it a look, maybe. I don't know. It's good.
My final thought I want to say before we move on to you, Kai, is also, I forgot to mention, having a protagonist who has a personality is also great. So that helps. That's really nice. Shez is cool, and even Byleth actually has a personality in this game, more so than 3 Houses. So it's really fun. Do that in the future, please, Fire Emblem. But anyway, Kai, what have you been playing, if you've remembered by now?
I did. I got 2 games I remembered that I haven't talked about. So one of them I'm surprised I haven't mentioned at all, and that is Mini Motorways. So this is one I picked up, became available a couple months back at this point, and I bought it pretty soonish. And it's just like a really charming game. I had to go back on the previous videos and check I hadn't talked about it yet, and maybe even still I missed it. I might have done.
I don't think so, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just a game where, like, you know, houses pop up, and then like the big buildings pop up, and you've just got to connect roads from the houses to their, you know, the buildings of the same colour, collect the deliveries and head back. And, you know, it starts off really calming. You know, you just make the roads and sort of go along them. It's quite sort of appealing in terms of how simplistic it is, and just, like, you know, chill vibes. And then you think, oh my god, why did that purple house go on one side of the map and the building showed up on the other side of the map? That's so difficult. I don't have any roads or all the materials in this traffic, and it's stress. That's Mini Motorways for you.
It does seem like a game that's relaxing until it isn't, you know?
Yeah, I really just like the vibes of it. It's just like, you know, it's just like a kind of city planner-esque game. You're just building roads in this really simplistic game. There's not like any high-tech mechanics or whatever. It's just really straightforward. You know, you've got different maps you could play on and stuff like that. You know, weekly, like, modifiers, things like, oh, if you do roads diagonally, it'll cost double the amount of tiles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a lot of variation to it to keep you interested. I've put maybe like 15 hours in at this point, I don't really know. But considering that this is a game where, like, you don't really... Actually, I've probably put in way more than 15. Anyway, like, it's one of those games where, like, it's just fun to pick up from time to time, just play one game of it for like half an hour. It's really cool vibes. I don't remember how much it costs, but it's no more than like a tenner. And I would recommend it if anyone just wants like a small, chill one to play like that, but it gets increasingly stressful. Yeah, just really chill vibes. I've wanted to play it for a while, because it's been out on like iOS and stuff for ages now. So I'm happy it's out now, and yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting to watch you play it on stream. I definitely saw the stress take over at points. And on that note, that's going to provide my segue for my second game I'm going to talk about, which is Crash Bandicoot. The Crash Bandicoot remasters, the trilogy that came out. I played that for the first time a few weeks ago. Basically, I had a whole thing with my Switch fan breaking. It was a whole thing. Whilst that was sorted out, I played Crash Bandicoot on the PlayStation. I have it on Plus. I only played 1, so I haven't played 2 and 3 yet. And I won't be too long here, but it's fun. It's good. It's also, at times, bullshit. It really is. It definitely shows its age in certain moments. Just some rather evil game design moments. There's certain things that just don't work, where, like, they introduce a new mechanic, for example, where these falling platforms, but you can't see them. The first time you see them, they're actually obstructed by something. so you don't even know what killed you. And like, why would you make that the first time you're introduced to a new mechanic? Like, there's moments like that. It really could have used with like for the remaster taking away lives. I think lives are just pointless, and they gave me stress when it didn't need them. There's a reason why most modern games don't have them. But despite all that, it's actually quite fun, you know, for a game as old as it is, and the remaster definitely makes things look nice, but I feel like the core gameplay has barely changed from the original, as far as I can tell. And it holds up really well, you know, the mechanics are great, the platforming's pretty tight controls. It's got like this weird wacky energy and personality to it. Of course, there's like the crash, like the wow thing, the noise he makes. That was an awful interpretation
Sorry,
of that.
give it one more time.
Wow! That was so bad. Yeah, that's going to be your new ringtone, right, Guy? Your new message alert.
That's my new notification sound.
But it's got a lot of fun and energy and personality to the game. Some of the boss fights, like, I think were a bit off, but in general, it was a game that's aged better than I thought it would have, and it's a struggle at times, but I had a good time with it, and I definitely aim to get around to the next two in the trilogy and 4, because I also have that through PlayStation Plus at some point when I have like a gap between games. So yeah, I enjoyed that more than I thought I would, in spite of the bullshit. But Kai, have you been playing anything else this month?
Yes, I have one more. And
Let's go.
It is a small, like, fan-made game called Pocket Crystal League. This is another one I've done on stream a little bit, but most of my time playing it was off-stream. So this is, for anyone who doesn't know, I guess, start from the start. One of the games that was like nominated for some awards last year and stuff was a game called Inscription. It's like a card-based game where you build up your deck. You make sacrifices to play down cards, and it kind of just works like like other card games do, where you place your cards down, they attack the minions that are the other cards, and then you attack the face of the your opponent to deal damage to them. And yeah, this game, Pocket Crystal League, is that, but there's no story. It's just the gameplay. It's in a really cute, like, 8-bit style, and it is only Pokemon.
Yeah.
That is the theming. The theming is really cute Pokemon pixel design, with a very interesting, like, scale to the game. Like, rather than, again, like, no story, nothing like that. It's just, you go through the 8 routes, you get stronger, you fight the gym leaders, and, that's really it. But I think it's a really interesting game to play. You've got events, you can like level up your Pokemon, you can fight other trainers along the way to get more money, you can evolve them, you can do all these sort of cool different things that you might expect. There are like typings that are important, type charts. There's all the different Pokemon in there from the first 2 generations, so the first like 251 or whatever. They are all in the game with all their own stats and whatnot. And yeah, it's just like another charming little game you can play. It takes, I don't know, anywhere from like 10 to 15 hours to beat, I guess, depending on if you're a gamer.
And going from your streams, would you say you're a gamer, Kai?
No. I have really bad luck when I play it, I guess.
Sure, the luck, yes. Yes, the luck.
Well, that's actually an interesting point, because the way you play down your cards in the game is by using berries, which you also draw randomly. So, there's a strategy you can do where, like, if all of your Pokemon want the same berry, then, you can always have enough for them, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
So it's just like, it's a surprisingly difficult strategy game. There's a lot of challenge and a lot of luck there. But regardless of that, I think the game scales really well. I think it's designed really well. The AI can sometimes be dumb, but like on the whole, it functions pretty well. It's only a matter of time before it gets taken down because insane copyright.
Yeah.
But the soundtrack is only like 3 or 4 songs, but those 3 or 4 songs are really catchy. Like these just little chiptune themes. They're really good. Like honestly, really catchy. Unfortunately, there's not like an official soundtrack for them on YouTube because they are really good little tunes that they've made. So yeah, it's completely free. You can just download it if you just Google Pocket Crystal League. There's like a download link to like a zip file, so you can just play it for free on your computer. No, no
Right.
payments or anything required. And yeah, it's just like really fun to play through. It's the kind of game I play because I'm of a very strategic mind, where like that's when I want to almost wind down or just like have a mental reset. Is I just turn on Pocket Crystal League and just play through a bit of that for a while. I don't need to focus on anything else. I just focus on the stats of the game, and yeah, I honestly, it's really weird how like such a sort of small game is so fun because I really enjoy it. So anyone who likes Pokemon or card games or anything, I would honestly recommend it. I think it's probably better than half the Pokemon spin-offs that exist.
And if the creators are listening to this video, add Fido. Do it. You want to.
I think they did say that they were planning on adding the other generations, so who knows, eventually.
Might get there.
Yeah,
as long as they get to it before the Nintendo ninjas do,
True. But yeah, I'd just say, like, if anyone bothers, yeah, it's a cool little game though. Both that and mini Motorways are just fun time wasters.
Very nice. And that does bring us to the end of the video. I should never have said this will be a short video at the start, because every time I say that. And now, Kai, you've seen the SpongeBob movie, right?
Which one? The original?
The first one, yeah.
Yes.
You know that bit when they're trying to not sing the Goofy Goober song and they start melting,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
I
that
know
in the
part.
moment. Yeah, that's me right now in this loft room.
Okay.
So,
Alright, let's get off here and go do some Mario Kart.
yeah. Oh no. But yes, it's been good fun. Thank you once again for talking through with me about these video games, Kai. And where else can people find you at?
Yeah, they can find me at twitch.tv/Fascurreyn. An interesting point now, I'm currently being Florida Man playing through Oxaling expansion, which I'm having fun with. I'll probably talk about that next month. But then, by the time this video goes up, like a couple weeks after that, I will be on Xenoblade 3. I'm playing through the entire game on my streams. I'll be doing like a ton of really long streams to play through everything in the game. So, you can basically clock in probably any time in the next month, and I will be live freaking out about something or other in the game. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yes, we will have a link in the description below there, so definitely go check that out for excessive Xenoblade fanboying. It's going to be a good time. But also, got to give a special thanks to our friend Sam, who does the graphic design work, the thumbnail, our logo, all of that. Thank you, Sam, once again. I'll get you your Kit Kats eventually, one day. Maybe. We'll see.
He gave me Tim Tams.
He gave you Tim Tams. Wow. I really should give him Kit Kats at this point, but life goes on.
You don't have to.
Nah.
You can just give him back to Tim Tams. I haven't eaten them yet.
That's fair enough, yeah. If he's watching this, he'll be mad. You
Yeah.
better hope he's quit out of this video by now.
Hopefully.
And of course, a special thanks to all of you watching. Of course, stay tuned to the channel. We've got more content coming up. Of course, our regular monthly podcast. And the moment we're done with Xenoblade, we'll be going all in on videos on that. Probably we'll do like our thoughts on it and all sorts of extra stuff as well, breaking it down across probably until Xenoblade 4 comes out. Let's be real. So,
Pretty much. Yeah.
so stay tuned for all of that here on BunchaJokahs, be it on YouTube or audio-only versions or videos on podcast sites like Spotify and Google Podcasts, etc. Yeah, and we will see you guys in the next video. Take care, goodbye, and enjoy Xenoblade 3.
Goodbye.
Bye.